Please listen carefully.
Hi, I'm Paul Frields.
And I'm Dave Guzman.
And welcome to Practical Bass, where each week we pick a topic of interest to you, the working bass player, and we dissect it and look at it from a couple different angles and hopefully pass on some wisdom about how you can make your gigs and gear rock and bring them to the next level. We can be found on the web at practicalbass.com. We would love to hear your feedback. You can also find us on Facebook, on Instagram, even on Google+. You can also email us directly at podcast@practicalbass.com. Dave and I read everything we get there. We'd love to hear from you. If you have ideas for shows, things that you would like to hear us cover, please don't be shy. We love to hear ideas for material from you, our listeners. And we want to thank you for being here and also encourage you to share this show with your fellow bass players, but also your fellow musicians, because we do try to cover some topics that go beyond just bass, but also really talk to the larger topic of being an amazing musician. And so this episode is going to be a little different than normal, right?
It's exciting.
Yeah. So we are going to have a really special guest today. This is an interview that we did tape a little while ago. And, at that time you were actually on vacation.
I was on vacation. Yeah, I was in New York, Brooklyn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is hipper to say than New York City now.
Is that better?
Brooklyn. Yeah.
I'm not very hip. So
oh, man. Now you know.
We do have a special episode because we have a world famous bass player, Mr. Igor Saavedra, who is the master of the 8-string bass from Chile. And he visited the Practical Bass studios, and we spent a while talking with him. In fact, we got so much out of that you're going to hear part 1 of this interview today. And next week, we're going to be back with part 2, where we dive into some different topics. So I hope that you, the listeners, enjoy this. We hope to bring you some more interviews with additional musicians, but not just musicians. We have an idea about bringing some other people here as well to talk about topics other than bass, but which we think will be good for you as players.
Applicable.
Yeah.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
Practical.
We aim for that.
It's kind of our thing.
It is. All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to turn you guys over to past me, even more past me, because that's meta, right? Because I'm past me right now.
Right now, you're past you.
But this is even more past me talking to
way past you
to Igor. So take it away. We have a really special edition of the show today because with us we have a true master, someone who is playing the 8-string bass and touring the world, Igor Saavedra, and he is from Chile, and he is with us here in the Practical Bass studios.
Hey, yes, I am.
Welcome.
Thank you. I feel very welcome. Hello. Yeah. Hello to everybody.
Yes. So Igor, I know you just came down to Virginia from Massachusetts. I think you were doing a clinic up there. What were you doing up?
Yeah, I was doing a master class in Berklee School of Music, and this is my second master class already. And always it's very meaningful to me when they invite me to do those kind of things, because it's very validating, and I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the school up there, I guess the faculty kind of advertises, and then you have a lot of students who kind of arrive to see what's going on, like what you're playing and your technique and sort of talk about that side of things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
And do you also do you do a performance as part of the clinic as well? Is there kind of a performance side and then also an instruction side?
Yes, absolutely. It's mixed. I play, I receive answers. I don't answer questions. I don't answer them, but they can question whatever they want. They can ask whatever they want. Mm-hmm. No, I answer the questions. Don't worry. So then I play, and it's very fun. It's a very dynamic process,
and every time's a little bit different, I guess, right?
Every time, because the students change. I mean, I did one 3 years ago in Berklee, exactly on the very moment when the worst. Do you remember the storm of the century, 3 years ago?
Yes.
Well, it was right there. I arrived from the NAM in Los Angeles, nice weather. And when I went out of Logan Airport, come on, it was like 10 feet.
They plunged you right into the maelstrom.
Yep, 10 feet of snow right there, man. It was like very impressive to me.
It's like trial by ice, I guess, not trial by fire, right?
Trial by ice.
So you have a website as well, and is it bajoigorsaavedra.cl?
Yeah, this Bajo Igor Saavedra, this B as in Boston, AJO, and my name then, Igor Saavedra.cl. But this is like the original one. For the CL is the Chilean domain. But for a long time now, you can go straight into www.igorsaavedra, which is .com.
Oh, perfect. IgorSaavedra.com. So we're going to include that link with the show notes for people who are listening. Definitely come by the website at practicalbase.com and look at the show notes. And we're going to have a link to Igor's sites there, and also some of the videos that you can see of him performing on the 8-string bass. And you also do lessons remotely, correct? Like you teach over the internet as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like it's part of my life as a musician. I live in Chile, very far. Technically, I live in there because I'm out from there 100 to 150 days a year. I'm on tour. But back there, I have 15, always 15. I mean, I could have more, really, a lot. But I prefer to raise a little bit the price, have the necessary students, and have a lot of available time to study, to perform, and to have a nice life.
Right.
Instead of earning a lot of money and having no time to play, which is what I like the most. So I stay there, I travel a lot, and I have an overseas student through Skype, like Adam, which is here with us. Adam Smolonsky, he's a Berkeley.
Adam is waving it to us from the other side of the studio here.
One of my best students, by the way. He lives in Virginia now.
I don't doubt it. Mr. Adam Smolonsky is, and I am going to note, we're going to have him in for a future episode because he's got a special resume as well that we're gonna dive into. So I hope our listeners will stick around for that.
So this is like a teaser for him.
Absolutely.
He plays 8-string. He's one of, as I say, one of my best students. He's been studying with me for 4 years already, uninterrupted 4 years, after graduating from Berkeley. Right. So it's very flattering to me. Because after graduating from Berkeley, you can just go there and try to gain experience, but not information and new things.
Right.
So, well, he thinks it's worth it. Maybe he's wrong. He's saying no, thanks. But I'm very flattered, and he's a nice person as well. So it's great.
He definitely is. He is a sweetheart, and it's great that he brought you by today for.
Well, he did a lot. He did a lot, so I can be here. Yes.
Yeah. And tonight, when this show arrives, this will already have happened, and hopefully we'll have some video we can link back to. But you're doing actually a show here in Fredericksburg. Tonight at one of the coffee houses, and we'll definitely link to that when this show comes out in a few weeks, and be able to show people what you put on there, the great show that you put on.
That'll be great.
So you talked about your lessons and trying to hold your students to a certain level, and so that way that you're getting sort of the right level of student, and that you can have a really a fruitful relationship with them. And so you're kind of looking for the quality of student and the quality of instruction, as opposed to just having more quantity and less time. So how, if a student was looking to study with somebody like yourself, what kind of advice would you pass on to them? What should they be ready with when they start looking? What are some things that maybe they should have mastered already? How do they know they're at the level where they're ready to reach out for an individual teacher like that?
Really, I accept whatever student wants to take classes with me with very, very few restrictions. They can know nothing. I can take a student that just bought his first instrument, and I love it because it's very challenging and it's a blank page.
Yeah.
and it's very like I love it because I can start from zero without having to erase anything that I consider is just based on my opinion, because I don't own any truth, but it's what I think is not proper or adequate for him. So I don't have to go through that. I just teach from zero. So I take this kind of students, also teachers or people that's already professional. I don't make any difference. But what is really important to me is the personal values and the attitude they have towards music, and the respect for music and for what they are going to do. It is just mainly that. Not a lot of talent. I don't rely too much into talent because I think it's kind of dangerous. I believe in hard work more than in talent.
Yeah. Yes, you said something I think that's really important, and that I wanted to focus on for a minute, because I think this is one of the values that Dave and I try and bring up in the podcast from time to time, is the idea that rather than relying on just talent or even just skill, that a lot of times it's your attitude and your ability to work hard and be the kind of person that other people like to work with that will help get you to the next place that you want to be. And so it sounds like, from the perspective of a teacher, you're looking for, primarily in a student, more than a certain skill set, you're looking for somebody who wants to succeed. They want that teaching to be successful. So are you looking for them to come with some goals? Like, for example, if a player is experienced, well, I guess let's start. If a player has no experience, then clearly their goal is just to learn maybe the basics of how to play. But for an intermediate student, is it helpful for them to come to the table with some goals and say, here's what I would like to learn. Can we talk about that?
Well, that's totally fair. I mean, you have this kind of students, and you have students. The main thing for me is that I want from them is that they want to learn. They want to know more. They want to play better than what they play actually, and they want to improve. And if they come with specific goals, I always tell them this depends on many factors, and you have to consider that you have to put your efforts on the same level of your goals.
Right.
That's a minimum, absolutely logic. By the way, requisite. I tell them to think about. Okay, what do you wanna do? I wanna be really a world touring solo bass player like you. Okay, do you know how much effort you need for that? Because I'm not you are talented. No, I am not. I have you can't tell really. I have maybe what is needed, and the critical mass of talent, minimum maybe, needed. On top of that, I put a lot of effort, a lot of practice, a lot of things. So that's what I ask you to do in order to get that. Are you able? Do you have the time? Think about it. Be realistic with your expectations so you don't get frustrated. And from that point, I put everything I have to help you.
Right. Yeah, and that's such a good point, that you can have talent or you can have skill, but it's really about the effort that you're willing to put in. And you yourself obviously have been putting in a lot of effort for a number of years to get to the level that you're playing at now. You talked about somebody coming to the table looking to be a touring professional. What is life like as someone who is touring primarily as a solo artist? Do you have a manager, or do you basically self-manage? How does that work?
I self-manage a lot, but I have so to say different people who likes what I do and respect what I do, who supports my career, that's always like willing to find contacts for me. And like in this case, my student Adam, he cares about me. He's nice with me. So says, okay, you will be in Berkeley. I told him, so I will find something to do for you. And he did, for example. It's just a little example. Of course, you have bigger situations that are more like complex, like a bigger venue or something like that. But it's it comes to the same in a different proportion, but it's like I don't have any official manager. Maybe I'm not that looking for any too deep or too. I'm not that interested on that on going that way, because it works fine like it is now. But who knows? I mean, I what I do is very like uncommon. World touring solo-based soloists and concertists are very few in the world. I mean, world touring, I mean, people that plays alone or plays alone in the room, it's full.
Right.
But I play bass, I mean. But this specific field, I wouldn't say there are more than 5 in the world. 5, 7. World tour. I mean,
Right.
I'm saying that you have within any country, you have certain people that's doing good things and traveling within their cities or things like that.
Right. Somebody might be doing something regionally, but
Yes,
they're
yes.
not going intercontinental. With
Yeah,
their
another
shows.
continent should be interested in bringing them there, things
Yeah.
like that. For many reasons, maybe they're really good, whatever, but for many reasons, it's not happening. So it's a very, very closed circle, and I'm glad I'm part of it, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
So the life is very rewarding, I would say. It's like you're not going to get rich, of course, in terms of money, but the experiences and the fact that you know you're doing something that's very on the edge,
Right.
cutting edge of what you do, which
Yeah.
is for me is cutting edge of bass. I mean, it's like you can find any analogy. It's like working for Bugatti in the cars. It's like it's cutting edge.
Right.
It's
And you're doing this. It's when you describe cutting edge, I love the fact that your concept of cutting edge is really from your fingers in the bass right into what the audience hears. So you're not talking about cutting edge like there's not a lot of technology going on between you and the audience.
yes.
It's really straight
Artistically.
from your heart and
Artistically.
your hands right out to their ears.
Exactly. Artistically, I'm applying the concept to artistry.
Yeah.
You know, cutting edge in this because there's not too many commercial, publicity or fancy things around it. As you go there, you have the people that likes your career, that's following you through, on the media and digs your stuff, and they go and they support you, and it's not like massive because it's complex, because it's deep things, it's technically complex, musically complex, so it's not for any ear in the world, which is not good in a way. I mean, I've been starting 5 years ago. I've been composing and doing my music, trying to do my music for the general audience as well, so they can enjoy, and it's very challenging to captivate these people as well.
Right. So like finding something that, maybe you can hook them into that they might be familiar with, and that kind of draws them into the rest of what you're playing.
Exactly.
So when you're getting ready to put these shows together, and you're getting ready to travel and so on and so forth, what is the rhythm of that booking look like? Like, how do you get to a certain part of the year where you know that it's a rich time of the year to tap into, say, some shows in a particular geography? Or are you basically looking all the time for anything that comes up and you travel as you need to?
Yeah, well, you will laugh about this, but I try to avoid heavy winters. I don't like them. I wouldn't look for a gig or find a concert or organize something in New York in winter.
Right.
Maybe in LA, yes.
Right.
LA is cool in winter. It's like, it's okay.
But the nice thing about traveling the world is you can always find somewhere where the climate's going to be just right for you.
Yes, I wouldn't be in winter in Europe as well. It's like, no way. So it's funny because it's such a strange requisite that I put to myself. But I like to enjoy my travels.
Right.
And I will not enjoy walking through the snow. It's not my thing. I'm from South America. Chile is not a tropical country at all. It's very like California, I would say, in general terms, the climate. So I look for that. In terms of festivals or activities, there are certain activities that I usually do not miss because of my sponsors. I have 8 official sponsors that I have to work with and respond to, which are, if you allow me,
Absolutely. Yeah.
in the amplifier, my amplification for the last 5 years is a Phil Jones bass, which is, I was with another great company before, and I switched myself. It was a personal decision to this company because, in my opinion, are making the best stuff in the world, the cutting edge. Now we can apply this term very properly on bass amplification. And for example, my strings are labella. Labella has Phil Jones has a signature amplifier. It has my name, which is very flattering, and it's very important, this amplifier, because
what's the configuration of an amplifier like that? I mean, I know
my
some of their
amplifier?
models, but what is your particular signature?
Well, you know, Phil Jones, it's very famous because they work with small speakers,
Right.
and many people think that, small speakers, this is like a toy or it's like for practice. No, but not you, because you know, but general people, like the people that does not know really too much, they don't think more deeply about it. So it's a good opportunity to use 1 minute to explain. A small speaker by itself, of course, is less efficient in terms of bringing low frequencies than a larger speaker. That's why Phil Jones cabinets do not come with one small speaker. It's about the surface of the cone, the sum, when you sum up. So let's say a 4x5 cabinet, you see 4 tiny 5-inch speakers. Well, this is about a 12-inch or bigger. I would say like 14, 13 and a half inch speaker there. Right. That's what really matters. But so what's the point? Why you don't put a 12-inch speaker in there instead of 12 little things? Because of efficiency. It's like the cars. When you have a 4-cylinder car, why you don't have a very large piston there? Like, it makes sense. It's just one big piston is probably cheaper, but it's insanely inefficient in terms of thermodynamics and many things. So it's exactly the same. When you have 4 speakers, the temperatures distribute themselves within the speakers, and the temperature does not go up, so the impedance remains low. And there are many more reasons. So the sound is way better, and Phil Jones is the only brand that manufactures their own speakers dedicated for their amps. You cannot find that in other brands.
They've really engineered them from the beginning to the end to be part of this array that is their.
Absolutely. Other companies, they outsource. So, this is in relation with the amps. I use labella strings that I've been with them for like 10 years. They have the whole, my speaker. Okay, my speaker is a 12x5. Sorry, I'm going back to your question. 12x5.
Right.
So it's a 1200 cabinet, 1200 watts cabinet, and 29 kilograms, which is like 60 pounds. It's very light for a 1200 watt.
Yeah.
And the bass head, my signature bass head, is almost 800 watts, and the hybrid ABD system is outstanding. And the importance of that, because this signature amp that you can order custom, is that this amplifier, it is the very first dedicated extended range bass amplifier ever made by a company.
Right. So it's actually made for people who are playing, like for yourself, you're playing this 8-string, highly extended range instrument, 5 octaves.
Yes.
And so it will handle from the top to the bottom. It seems like that would also work for somebody who plays like Chapman's stick or something like that, where you have a very, very large
It will work
range.
for that as well, because of course, but it's semiotically, it's very, very important. It's like a statement. It's the very first time a company dares to do such a thing.
Yeah.
So it's very meaningful for the community of extended range bass players.
Right.
Also, Lavella, if you go to lavella.com, they have the extended range bass signature that they put my name to it. So it's quite flattering to do the whole line. It's a statement. It's important for me as an artist. Of course, I'm not taking it from the point of view of the ego. It's more like it's like a show of appreciation from them to me.
Right.
And,
They're actually like they're kind of acknowledging.
Yes,
that,
yes, I take it like
there's
that.
very much a class of artists out there
Absolutely.
that
It's
needs
just
this
that.
kind of product.
On all the strings, I mean, for 7, 8, 9, 10 string basses, but I play 8, of course. So that's Saavedra, Widner metronomes. They sponsor me with metronomes and my tuning forks because my bass includes a tuning fork, and I tune like that live. That's the way I go. I don't use an electronic tanner.
Right.
Tanner. How you pronounce that?
Tuner, yeah.
Tuner, sorry. And Nordstrom pickups.
Yeah.
That's what I use. I have 2 custom DC8 Nordstrom pickups on my system. Analysis Plus cables, which is top-notch, cutting edge again technology. They make the cables for NASA, my friend. I mean, this is like, they're very expensive. The power cable is $1,000.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, I guess the interesting thing is, we talked about, there's not a lot of technology. I think for you, the technology is in the most fundamental part of making your sound, as opposed to gadgets that you just kind
I
of
don't
add
use
on.
effects.
It's all, it's the bass, the way it's made, the strings and the way they're made, the technique that you use, the cable that you're getting, the amp that you're using on stage, and that is where your sound comes from.
Yeah, what brings us to a very important asset, which is identity. I mean, you build your own world. I encourage artists, and when I do clinics and things, look for what you are, be introspective, find yourself within yourself and bring it out, because if you don't do that, you will be lost. I mean, there are too many good players in this world, too many, but 95% sound the same.
Right.
So if you go to the ones that are succeeding, what's the main reason they succeed? That they are better than the other 95%? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They may be as good, or maybe some of these 95% are even better. But the problem is that they don't have identity. And if you don't have identity, you have nothing in terms of artistry. You have to build that up.
Right.
And so in my case, I don't know if I'm that good or not, but I can tell you that I am myself.
Yeah.
And it's my own world. My amplifier, I designed it with the company. My strings, my technique, my bass. I invented the 8-string bass 20 years ago. I always say, officially yes, but maybe some guy in Siberia put together one before me, but we don't know. So it's in terms of who's the guy who really came out first and started to develop it.
Right. And you engineered that,
I
primarily for yourself as a vehicle for expression.
Absolutely. Right? And a way to compensate my limitations as well. That was there were very objective reasons for me to have for having an 8-string bass,
right.
And it worked out pretty well. So I built up my technique, well, etc., my own world, and nobody can be better than me being me.
That's right.
And nobody can be better than you if you are you, and that is valid for anybody. The problem is that it's very easy to say, but
much harder to carry out.
The vast majority, 95, don't do that.
Yeah. How did you get to the point in your playing? And I would assume that at some point you were probably playing maybe a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like maybe more in a standard manner,
Absolutely.
Right? Maybe not you hadn't really had the idea of how you're going to investigate the extended range instruments and what you wanted to be as an artist. How did you make that leap? Like, what did that look like? Were you playing with other people and then you just found that you wanted to express yourself in a different way? Or are you still kind of splitting your time between doing things solo and playing with other people?
Well, I started very old. I'm 52, and I started to play bass at...
Not that much older than me, I just have to say.
Okay, good.
But you look very young. So, yeah, well, I think the music must keep you young.
They always tell me that. Yeah. I'm lucky. My girlfriend is 30, you see. I'm happy.
You haven't told her you're 52.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, but it's 22 years old difference. But, I started at 22 from zero. After I saw a music show that impressed me so much, bass, it's a long story. So my process is different. When you start at 22 and you realize and you fall in love with music in a second, at 22 years old, being a sportsman, a kung fu martial art instructor with a very clear life for the future, moving to China, learning Chinese. I was throwing hammer. I was third in my country. I had the third best mark in my country.
Wow. So also like a star athlete then.
I was very into sports, and in a moment, I'm telling you literally, the same day, everything stopped.
It was just pow.
Wow.
Like right then you said,
Yes.
I know what I need to do.
Like you've been married for 22 years or 20 years, and you literally see and hear one word for another lady, and you fell in love. That's it, in a second. And that's nothing that can stop that. That's the story of humanity.
Yeah.
Nothing can stop that, especially when this other chick, let's say it, is available. It's there for you. It's there for you. The other lady tells you, come here. I love you too.
Yeah.
You know? That's it, man. That's it.
It's interesting. You cast this in that romantic light, right? So there was this like you were immediately attracted to the bass, like something spoke to you, and you just knew that I've got to be close to this.
Yes, because it is a love matter. Yeah. It is this is a matter of love. I mean, it's I love what I do, and I felt in love with music and with bass in that very moment. Nothing could stop me, and I quit university in 5th grade, 6 months before graduating. Wow. I didn't care. I felt 22 years passed, and I was not doing what I did have to do, what I was meant to do. So my process was, going back to your question, which I kind of forgot.
Well, I guess this really does lead there, though. I mean, this is how you got into music. And I guess, so at 22, you started this journey of music. You're like, I can't wait another second to not do this. Yeah. I have to be doing this. And this is where I'm going to put my energy into. And so, I would imagine that for a while you were probably learning the basics and then kind of getting more experience. At what point did you know that you were looking to do more personally, that you wanted to do more than, say, maybe playing in a conventional way? You wanted to sort of explore a different part of yourself, and that no matter what else happened, that was what you were going to pursue. How did you know? I mean, was that a pow moment too, or was it more gradual?
That very moment.
So right at the beginning, back at age 22.
That day.
So everything else was leading up to you doing this as a
but
solo
I knew
artist.
I did have to go to the trenches first.
Oh yes, back to the trenches. So
that's great.
That was a pretty amazing half hour that we got for the beginning of that interview.
I almost wish maybe when you edit it, like you can do trenches with like reverb and echoed. That dramatic, super cool.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we'll add that. We'll just fix that in post is what we'll do.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously this is Dave and Paul. We're coming back at you, more towards the present now. That's the end of part 1 of our interview with Igor Saavedra, the master of the 8-string bass from Chile. And we are going to conclude that interview next week. So I hope that you will come back and listen to part 2, because Igor gets really philosophical about several subjects, and just his attitude towards music life and how he sort of makes that balance work, and how he kind of approaches everything. And it's really powerful, I think, for people to understand that getting to a level where you are appreciated as a master and, have some renown around the world. It doesn't happen just because somebody's a great player. It happened. And in fact, Igor talks about that specifically. It happens because of a lot of factors that people need to take into account, and that hopefully you can put into practice in your daily life.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next week with part 2 of that interview. If you'd like to send us some feedback about part 1 or anything for that matter, Dave and I are all ears. You can email us at podcast@practicalbass.com, or you can visit the website practicalbass.com and leave us feedback through the form there. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram and Google Plus and Twitter, all of the socials, as they say. We would love to hear from you. If you have ideas for future shows, for future topics you would like to see us cover, we Love hearing about that from you. And you'll also be able to subscribe if you visit the website. There's a subscribe link, and you can find us on Apple Podcasts on your iPhone. You can find us at iTunes on your Mac OS device. You can find us on Google Play and Stitcher Radio and just about any podcatching app out there. Just search for Practical Bass and you'll find our friendly black and white logo, and hit the subscribe link. You will get a fresh episode delivered to you weekly this season, all the way through, I think, the end of September or thereabouts. And we hope you will join us next time. So until then, I'm Paul Frields.
And I'm Dave Guzman.
This has been Practical Bass.
Thanks for listening.
Except I would say like, oh, I went to New York, because that would somehow.
That's how it would come out.
Yeah, just because somehow that would be cool to say it that way.
Mm-hmm. Like a Yenta.
Yeah, it's not. It's just not.
I went to New York.
I went to New York.
Let me tell you.
And then I fixed up my cousin Myrtle.